Good afternoon, Year 12. This is a video to walk you through this week's learning, Changing Places 2. As you can see, the learning objectives we will look at today is distinguishing the categories of place and evaluating the impact of exogenous and endogenous factors on places. So I'll start by just going through what I'd like you to do for our Teams meeting on Wednesday. So I would like you to watch one of the TV shows or movies and create a 60-second review as part of the lesson on Wednesday. I would like you to focus on how that film or show actually represents place, and I would really like you to use subject-specific key terminology within that as well. Also, I have created a class on Seneca, which I've invited you all to, and put on their Changing Places topic, and there's a range of different activities to test your knowledge. The film I will do my 60-second review on Wednesday is that of La La Land. So we shall crack on with today's lesson. So if you remember, you read an article by Cross called Sense of Place. Now I would like you to pause the video in just a second, and I would like you to think of how many of the 6 relationships you can recall of place with examples. So I'd like you to give you 3 minutes in order to do that, please. So pause the video now. Okay, so how many of these 6 did you actually remember? And also, when it comes to those relationships, how deep are those relationships? So it might be an idea to go over the place typology on the slide shown at present. So on to today's lesson then, categories of place. Now, I mentioned to you the other day about that idea of there's no place like home with Dorothy, and how important places are to people. And those relationships we have with places and that meaning can be very, very deep and an intense experience if you refer to figure 1. Now, the concept of place has many different aspects. It can be represented in many different ways. So, for instance, the media representation, the location itself, and both the human and physical characteristics of place as seen on the slide. There are 3 important geographical terms that you need to be aware of. So, location, so literally where the place lies on a map. The locale, so the series of settings where day-to-day life occurs in that location, and then from that we gain our sense of place and we put our personal emotional attachment to give that place a meaning. So the idea of place is very interesting because, as you know, that places are dynamic and there are many flows of people, capital that change that place and that meaning over time. I want you to take a second to just have a look at this map that I found. Now, this proclaims to be a map of every city, as if every city is generic and has generic characteristics. So I'd like you to pause the video here, have a look at some of the generic characteristics that are suggested that every city has, and see if you feel that this is a true representation of all cities. Pause me here, please. Moving on, another interesting representation of place that you can see here is actually a word cloud looking at a sense of place of different areas of London. It was created by qualitative data, so questionnaire data, and the words that are the largest and in bold came up the most when asked about your perception of different places. I'd like you to take a look at this for a second and think about to what extent would this word cloud give someone a clear and reliable sense of place within the different areas of London. So again, pause me here and have a think about that, please. Now, there are many different types of or categories of places. We can have experienced places, so places we have actually been to and have made some sort of connection with, and then those that we are represented within the media, and those that we might have quite a mythical connection with. So it's time for a game if you are ready. So some words will appear on the screen, and I want you to stop after each one, and I would like you to write down 5 words associated with each one. So let's go. Wait for it. And I simply couldn't resist this one. Or this one, in fact. Now, I'll be very interested in your 5 words from each of these places on Wednesday's lesson. So make sure you have those noted down, your 5 initial words associated with those places, and seriously consider, where are you getting that information from? Is it biographical experience, mythical experience? Have you actually in fact been to those places? Very interesting. We'll discuss on Wednesday. So actually places can actually have something greater than just their location, their locale. Some places are said to have an aura or a spirit perhaps, so something bigger than just its location and what it offers. It's said that places like Mount Olympus, for instance, and Mount Fuji have got this kind of spirit within the place. Not socially constructed, just literally there. Just give you a moment to have a read of some geographical findings and research based on this concept of genius loci. So pause me here, please. So there are 4 different types of places: near places, far places, media places, and experience places. Pause the video here and just have a little look at figure 7 and see how media representation seriously affects the way we view places. Again, this goes further. So we can gain a real sense of topophobia or topophilia based on how they are represented within media, or in fact it can give us aspirations to actually visit that place ourselves. So what I'd like you to do is pause me here and consider what you think of as a near or a far place, and I'd like you to write a list of 3 of each. And again, we'll talk about this on Wednesday, but I want you to think about your own perception of near and far places. The ones you've looked at on your list, think about, has your concept of near or far places, is that quite subjective depending on how much you've actually travelled and how how connected you actually feel yourself globally? Ponder that one. Now on to a little task. I've put some different factors on the board, on the screen, sorry. I want you to categorise them into 4 different categories. So are they inferring media place, near place, sorry, far place, or experienced place? So pause me here and have a go. The answers are on the next slide. How many did you get right? Well done. Okay, so textbook time. All the information you need is on the screen. I'd like you, to read through the section based on place representation, please. Answer the activities. I would then like you to, as a stretch task, to dig a little bit deeper into the concept created by Edward Said of Orientalism, please, which I've attached a video on your PowerPoint that you have to dig a little bit deeper on this concept. So again, pause me here, crack on, and you can upload your answers as photographs onto Teams for me to have a look at. Okay, moving on. Next stop. What factors actually shape the characteristics of places? Now, I've been bounding these words around quite a lot, endogenous and exogenous factors, but do we actually know what they mean? Because both of these factors can hugely impact the sense of place we gain in certain locations. So, first things first, I'd like you to play a little game of spot the differences between these 2 media representation of places. And again, we will feed back on Wednesday's lesson. So pause me here. Okie dokie. What I would like you to do is create a mind map now, please. Give yourself, say, 5 minutes. I would like you to choose a place in the centre. I suggest it's your hometown, so somewhere very near to you and experienced to you. And I would like you to categorise the factors that contribute to give that place, a sense of place. You can characterize them or categorize them, into physical and human factors. Okay, moving on. So, have you ever been to a place, I'm totally intrigued by this, where you have felt entirely out of place due to this specific dialect, accent spoken in that area? Now, this links back to the Geordie Shore and the Chelsea activity you just completed for me. So, I want you to pause the video and pause this video and watch the video attached that maps some of the interesting dialects in England and just how varied they are. Okay, next task, please. I would like you to rank the following factors into their influence on a character of a place. So I would like you to rank them from number 1 being the most influential through to the one that you feel or deem the least influential on giving a place its sense of character. Pause the video here. So endogenous and exogenous factors. So endogenous factors are found within places. So for instance, how mountainous it is, the geology of the area, whereas exogenous factors come in from outside. So for instance, the flow of money, people, ideas, etc. So pause here to make note or print out some of the endogenous factors and maybe think about that in your hometown of what that actually looks like. So how mountainous is the place that you live in, for instance? What specific physical geography does it have? Please can you again do the same for endogenous factors? Okay, so let's think of Haverhill because we all go to school there. So I would like you to categorise your factors within or what you feel contributes to give Haverhill its sense of place into your exogenous and endogenous factors. Now, some of you live in Haverhill, so you would have already started on this in the previous activity. So I would like you to take a picture of that and upload that to Teams, please, for me once you've finished it. And on the next slide, you will find some helpful inspiration, I hope, for you to do that for Haverhill. Okay, a little independent activity now, please. I would like you to look specifically at exogenous investments that have come into Haverhill recently and the kind of impact that's had on them. Now, I have put 5 on there of different exogenous investments that have come into the town of late. I would like you to have a look into all 5 of them, but then choose one of them and explain in a piece of writing, please, just a short paragraph, why you feel it's the most influential exogenous factor on shaping the characteristics, of Haverhill today. Okay, so nearly there, guys. I would like you to stop now and for some textbook time. Again, can you read through the pages 76 to 79, answer the activities. Again, you can take a picture of those and upload that into your area on Teams, please, under this week's assignment for me to take a look at. So what I'd like you to do now then is pop that web link into your browser and enter your postcode, and you can take a little quiz to just see just how well that you know your area. It's fun, isn't it? And just when you thought it couldn't get any more fun this lesson, as you know, knowledge is power, but application is key. So it is exam practice or question time. Yay, I hear you cry. So there are 18 marks worth of exam questions that I'll be marking for you this week based on the knowledge we have covered thus far. So we start with nice, easy AO1 4-marker questions. So in the context of place, explain the meaning of endogenous and exogenous factors. Now, it's going to be a really good idea here to actually give examples with maybe your near place, so Haverhill, when doing this. Now, don't go over to the next slide until you have completed it, because obviously the mark scheme will be there. So pause me for 6 minutes or so. Have a go at that question, please. Again, the second 4-marker, please. Another AO1 question. Have a go, and then upload that to Teams for me, please. So again, it's another explain question. So why an outsider perspective might give different sense of place to an insider perspective, and consider it with your own insider perspective of your near place, please. A nice 6-marker here, an AO3 question. We know that because it says the word analyse at the beginning, and we've got 2 very interesting different graphical representations of places. We've got figure 3A, which is again questionnaire data based on measuring people's well-beings, and it's given obviously as a color coded and also as a facial expression, which is quite interesting. And then you've got a choropleth map to compare and contrast. Now remember, before you try this one, it's AO3, so it's got to be very data rich and place specific, and no waffle basically, but you do still need to conclude within your 6 markers, as you know. So have a go at that one. And then last but not least, we've got one more 4 marker. This again is another explain question. So looking at exogenous factors. So explain how shifting flows of investment can change either the demographic characteristics, so the age, sex structure within an area and ethnicity, or the socio-economic characteristics. So wages, house prices, etc. It's up to you which one of the 2 you do, but only do one. I only either do the demographic or the social for this one. So have a go, and again the mark scheme follows. Try not to peek. Lastly, you may laugh at this one. However, obviously, I've asked you to watch one of the films or series anyway. But I've also put a web link here for Quizlet cards if you want to check your knowledge. If you've got any spare time, again, you can try the Seneca, go back over previous learning, and basically just rate what we've been doing thus far. So awesome. I can't wait to see you all on Wednesday to go over some of your findings from this. If you need any further support, please message me in Teams or email me. Wonderful. Take care, guys.